Welcome back to the Upshot's Ryder Cup of Wrongens. It's part 2. Greggy's still here. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
We've flown him back.
The smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, exactly. That was a busy old weekend you've had, and then just straight back to the Upshot for part 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, in part 1, we relived Tiger Woods' shagging exploits, his romantic journey from high to low and back again. And of course, we talked about Phil Mickelson getting his knob out at the dinner table to show his friends' wives. If you haven't listened to part 1 already, do go back and listen. But we're now going to meet many, many more wrong-uns. Yes, John Daly is in there. We can't talk about golfing wild men without going into depth about him. But I mentioned at the end of part 1 that there was a member of the current tour who dabbled in a bit of extracurricular, and someone who's really taken the torch on from Tiger Woods on the tour. And I am, of course, speaking of DJ, Mr. Dustin Johnson, who, I mean, it's pretty well known that he was something of a party animal. He obviously was banned for 6 months in 2014, which turned out to be a positive test for coke, his 3rd failed drugs test. So yeah, I mean, he's doing a bit of drugs and partying on the side. But around that time, journalist Robert Lucetic came forward with a bit of extra interesting info. He said, it's not a huge secret either that Dustin Johnson had affairs with 2 wives of PGA Tour players. One broke up the marriage. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that those players are Will Mackenzie and Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, Will Mackenzie lesser known, Jimmy Walker not. So they played on a Ryder Cup team together. And, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, Jimmy Walker's a fellow major winner, right? The guy won the USPGA, I think 2012, something like that. So he was right at the top of the game for a long time, but everybody knew. So you'd go to a golf tournament where Jimmy Walker was, and like it'd almost be like a little titter from the spectators, because you'd go, oh, there he is, and he'd get heckled. He'd get a bit of how's DJ Jimmy and all that, which is like really, he's just been divorced like from your wife, because that was the one that did split up the marriage, which is like.
Oh, because Will Mackenzie did split from his wife as well, but when they split, they were like, it has nothing to do with those rumors.
But Jimmy Walker and the wife, it's bad.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a whole thing, because they played on the same Ryder Cup team, and I think it was like, do we pair them together?
No, obviously not.
So
they do work well together. But.
So yeah, I've sort of been in DJ's orbit a little bit. I mean, he's married to Paulina Gretzky, as I'm sure you're going to mention that, and who's the daughter of the NHL god that is Wayne Gretzky, who's also a bit of an odd guy, because he's obviously Canadian but now lives in Florida. He's not odd cause he's Canadian, but because obviously with the Trump and the 51st state and all this stuff, like there's a lot of Canadians who put a lot of stock into what Wayne Gretzky says. I can't actually say how famous this guy is in Canada, and how much he's revered, but his stock seriously plummeted since he's kind of like been playing a bit of golf with Trump.
Oh, is he basically like, let's join the USA?
Well, he's just not said anything, which I think for the Canadians is worse. So
it's an awkward position to be in.
It is, yeah. And then DJ himself, he's obviously Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law, plays a lot of golf with Trump. There's the live connection now, and they sort of do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very, very weird. But I've been in his orbit a couple of times. I was actually visiting a mate in West Palm Beach in Florida, and I was in a bar where it was only a pokey little thing, it was a tiny thing, it was just nothing special. There was no VIP section or anything like that. It was literally just a bar and a load of Yanks with cocktail sticks in the mouths. Terrible joint. Anyway, the whole place for 30 seconds all of a sudden has this weird atmosphere, and what's going on, and almost felt like the music had stopped. It hadn't, but it was like, oh, what's going on here? And there was like these 4 guys in blazers kind of darting around the place, going to all corners, and then they sort of looked over to the door, waved the doorman to sort of let this bloke in, and the bloke was Dustin Johnson. So it was like 4 of his posse basically who'd sort of scoped out the joint and waved him in. And I'm not going to say how long ago this was, but yes, there was definitely a few narcotics.
There was
being
some bathroom
consumed.
trips.
There was definitely.
Yeah, I think he's kind of been open that I've used drugs. It's not actually my issue. My issue is just not just partying too hard.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of sounds like the same thing to me.
Yeah.
I would say his issue is fucking his friends' wives.
Yeah,
personally.
that's also a bit of a problem.
But he's moved on, hasn't he? Him and Paulina seemingly.
Seemingly, yeah.
They're kind of the golden couple of live golf.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, if that's what you aspire to be,
What
then
a title to be.
they're no good. What I will say on DJ is that I don't care about him going to live and all that stuff because he's never lied about it. He goes, why would I want to work less and earn more money?
Yeah.
Fine. Good honesty. He's not bad-mouthed anybody. He's not shit on the doorstep on the way out of the PGA Tour. And actually, he's always quite affable. Like, there's all these clips of it's like, so DJ, how'd you hit a fade? Talk us how you hit the shot from left to right. And he'll go, well, I stand over it and I just try and hit a fade. It's like really good instructional videos. Well done, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, his public persona's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, unless you're poor old Jimmy Walker. Now, we've talked a lot about shaggers, but Seve Ballesteros was right up there. His the legend goes that his hotel room during majors would have a line of groupies forming an orderly queue at the door. And I don't actually think people often say that's not exaggeration.
No.
But what is that? You can't shag that many people.
No, probably.
Can you, James?
You don't know. That he was called the Matador for a reason. I think he's like, Seve's got this incredible. I mean, look, the guy's been dead 10 years, but I still talk about him as if he's like God. I love Seve Ballesteros, and charisma on the golf course personified. Incredibly handsome dude. I kind of compare him mainly probably just because he's Spanish, but a little bit to what Carlos Alcaraz is now, in the tennis, but with a bit more of the freewheeling ability to do what the fuck he wants because there was no camera phones and there was no PR machine.
Yeah.
It's like Carlos Alcaraz 30 years ago. I mean, think of the damage.
Whereas now Carlos Alcaraz has to just be a very pleasant, very likable guy.
A very likable guy, toe the party line, speak, incredible English to give the on-court interviews. Seve always had that kind of broken, even right up until he died, when he'd been the Ryder Cup captain and played in America and done all these corporates and stuff. His English still wasn't amazing, far better than our Spanish, I always hasten to add, but he just he had that everybody loved him, so a queue of people outside his hotel room door, I can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they're just getting autographs and stuff. Actually, I think the key thing for Seve is he was single for most of his life, so the press weren't doing the kiss and tell thing in the same way.
Yeah,
they couldn't really justify them.
Yeah.
So there's actually not that many warts and all accounts of shagging him, although one woman did provide one, and that is Liz Hode, who is a former professional golfer and page 3 girl, who went on to have relationships with a number of famous names, including F1 playboy James Hunt, who we've talked about before, big shagger, and the royal photographer Patrick Litchfield, who I don't really know what his bag is, to be honest.
Okay, all right.
It's a hard one to process in my brain. But anyway, she said of Seve, he was my first lover and the best I've ever had.
Well, there you go.
Losing your V place to Seve Ballesteros is a pretty good gig, if you're a golf fan especially.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good from Seve. Well, good from Liz.
Yeah, well done, Liz. She was actually less complimentary about James Hunt. She said that he made love wearing earphones because he liked to listen to Meatloaf.
Oh no! What's that all about?
So I guess we're into. That's got to be 80s Walkman.
Yeah.
Because famously Leonardo DiCaprio, the rumor is...
I'm picturing AirPods here. It isn't,
yeah,
is it?
No, it's big sort of heavy Panasonic numbers plugged into a tape deck.
Yeah, that's on the bed next to you.
Yeah, and Meatloaf.
Good,
probably the song is I'd Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. But this is the rumor about Leonardo DiCaprio always, is that he has sex with AirPods in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, supposedly DiCaprio, when you shag him, it's sort of you go into one room, his lawyers are there, you do the NDA, and then you go into the main room and you shag, and he doesn't look you in the eye, and he has AirPods in the whole time. And then someone I know who knows someone who shagged him, claims to anyway, said that I was like, everyone's always said, oh, what is it? What music is it? A podcast? Apparently it's like whale noises, like the sound of whales mating.
That is psychotic
behaviour. Yeah, really psychotic.
That is really
So Meatloaf actually feels a bit more charming. Put it on the speakers so we can both enjoy it.
Just to clarify, that was James Hunt and not
Seve
Ballesteros. That would really actually ruin my image of Seve.
Yeah, no, that's James Hunt, who we will do an episode on sometime because he got up to all sorts. As for Liz, if you're wondering what she's up to these days, in 2012 she was blacklisted by Wentworth Golf Club.
Oh, really?
She says it's because they found out she was a page 3 girl. I wonder if it was also because she did a kiss and tell on Seve Ballesteros. But quite a charming one. She was nice about him.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And Wentworth
weird.
do...
And I was going to say, there's a lot worse people at Wentworth than that. But
especially these days. But you also can get blackballed there quite easily, can't you?
Yeah.
It just takes a few members.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm sure Kevin Peterson got blackballed there
recently.
Did,
yeah. And he's got a house right next to the golf course as well.
Couldn't...
So it's like looking over your back fence every day. You're going, no.
I'd move, sell the house once you can't get
would, wouldn't you?
Andrew Strauss is a member, I noticed. So
yeah. Sir Andrew.
Anyway, in 2019, Liz announced that she changed tack entirely. Here's the headline. Model plans to marry her dog after giving up on men after 220 failed dates. And she's got the dog in a little top hat and she's in a wedding dress. Yes, lovely. Sorry, we've drifted quite a lot from Seve Ballesteros. Liz Hode was a professional golfer, though.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So she's got her own spot on this list. Goodness. Yeah, I couldn't find that much else on Seve, which is weird because he's known as such a ladies' man.
Yeah.
But because I think basically no one's annoyed about it.
No.
So, and the press love him.
As long as he wasn't upsetting people. I'm sure he broke a lot of hearts, but, he wasn't doing what Tiger was doing, where barefaced lying, straight to everybody. I think actually, Seve, everybody knew, everybody was fine with it. It was part of his personality, wasn't it? The fact that he was quite clearly this charming.
And it was kind of different times. I think if you're just single and enjoying it, then go for it.
I highly recommend the Seve biopic. It's not sordid. There's no shagging in it. But it's very, very good.
Really?
Yeah, really good.
I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. Is there a sordid version?
I'm sure there's room for one to be commissioned.
Well, one man who should have taken Seve's advice to stay single is one of the few Brits on the list. It is Knight of the Realm, Sir Nick Faldo. Who he makes our list because his incurable shagging habit cost him $25 million in divorce settlements. Just keeps marrying him. So his first marriage actually ended before he won a major. So I think that was all like relatively, just straightforward stuff. Although he said of that marriage, we were happily married for 8 months. Unfortunately, we were married for 4.5 years.
That's a classic Faldo line, actually. Yeah, that's quite good. It's good.
He has got some good quips in him. He then remarried for 9 years until he met 20-year-old American golfing student Brenna Sepalak, who he left his wife Jill for in quite public circumstances.
Yeah.
It was a bit undignified, wasn't it? And after that, Jill, his ex-wife, she said, Nick socially is a 24 handicapper.
That's very good, actually. And that's the sort of shit that he would hate as well.
What's weird about that is he does a lot of commentary and he's very good.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's a smooth talker.
I like him.
So does she just mean that he's like missing a bit of like empathy and the milk of human kindness?
I'll tell you now. So I saw Faldo. So he got knighted, I think, in about 2009. I reckon I saw him in 2013, and he was being ferried past me on a golf buggy at a tournament, and he was sat on the back, and everybody had sort of seen this buggy coming. People were just walking. It was like in the tented village bit where you get your hot dogs and all that, and this buggy was whizzing past. And he was going, "Excuse me, Knight of the Realm coming through." And I thought that was quite funny, right? I thought if he's taking the piss, that's like funny.
A double,
it's quite funny, right? Because that's also his humor. It's kind of like that, and I think it's lost on a lot of people. But he, and I mentioned this to somebody who knew it, who'd been around him for years, and he said, "Oh no, that's not a joke. That's him being deadly serious."
Really?
And I went, what? But then but that's the sort of thing he'd say on the commentary as a joke, like the quip there about we were happily married for 8 months, but we were actually married for 4.5 years. That's funny, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he is socially awkward.
He strikes me as a guy who can laugh at himself.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
There's a bit of Alan Partridge there.
Big time. Clearly, big time. I know he pisses a lot of. Thankfully, I don't have to watch the majors on Sky because I'm always
covering him.
doing on a different channel. But like, like, I know when he did the Masters this year, people were getting seriously fucked off with him, constantly talking about when I won the Masters. And, well, yeah, Rory's won the Masters, but I won it 3 times. And like constantly doing that. And people are like, shut up.
That's sort of the same as the Night of the Realm thing, isn't it?
Yeah, a little
To be
bit.
fair, also, he keeps saying he's retiring and then he gets fucking divorced and has to come back to work.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
you'll
exactly.
probably expect him to leave. Well, the relationship with Brenner, the 20-year-old golf student, lasts 3 years. But it does come to an end when he meets the lovely Valerie, a Swiss PR agent. And he swiftly broke up with Brenner, who, you know, she responded like you or I would. She picked up one of his golf clubs and smashed in the windscreen of his 200-grand Porsche, which I quite rate. Nick said later, I was praying she didn't use my best clubs. You should have heard me sigh with relief when I found out she picked up an old wedge I'd left lying in the garage. Again, that is funny.
It's good. It's a good gag.
Some people would refuse to talk about that story.
Oh, 100%.
But he's quite an open book.
Yeah, he's good.
Anyway, he married the fragrant Valerie in July 2001 and declared, this one's going to last, which again is funny, I think.
Yeah, it's quite
He's owning
good,
it. But unfortunately, by 2006, he filed for divorce again and was facing a £15 million settlement. Valerie's dad was interviewed about the divorce and he said, it's not the first time Nick has bought something and changed his mind. Bought something? That's your daughter.
Very demeaning. Yeah.
Of your own daughter.
Goodness me.
He bought a Bentley recently, but once he had it, he was bored with it after a month and got rid of it. Maybe that's what he's like with wives. Sort of get your point, but you are talking about your daughter like she's a car. Weird. And then in 2021, Nick made it wifey number 4 when he married the current Mrs. Faldo, who's Lindsay DeMarco.
Yeah, who calls herself, by the way, Lady Linz.
Yeah, Lady Lynn. Oh, is that because of the Sir?
Yeah.
I kind of love it.
Yeah, I
Kind
do.
of love it.
Yeah.
Fuck
Which is
it.
funny when you know what's next.
Yeah. So Lady Linz is a former topless dancer who she was interviewed and she couldn't remember how many times she'd been married. So the answer is 6, including 2 to the same man.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, she when they asked her, she couldn't remember. So it's actually a perfect match, I think. Anyway, Lindsay was once named Mrs. Conservative USA.
Not sure that's the title you want to be going for. Lady Linz.
She won it. You'll never sing that. And that's actually opened some doors for Faldo because last year, Donald Trump, who she's matey with Trump, Lindsay, she knew his family.
Yeah, he probably was, joining in when she was having a dance.
They know each other from Palm Beach, we'll put it at that.
Yeah.
And last year, Trump touted Nick for a role in his administration because he's such a fan of his, quote, beautiful wife. So Trump told a rally in Montana, he said, I think we need to bring Nick into the government because we like to get other people to fold. And his nickname is Faldo because he makes everyone fold. But his name is Faldo.
Just to clarify.
Just rambling on.
Christ almighty.
He is just funny, isn't he?
They probably called him handsome and probably talked about how big his cock was as
Yeah.
well.
Well, the fact that he hasn't mentioned Faldo's cock, I think, is telling. I think that suggests he's not one of the true greats. He's no Arnie Palmer. Anyway, Seve, Sir Nick, they can rely on dashing looks and major titles to woo their love interests. But down the pecking order, it can get quite a lot more transactional, I regret to inform you.
Yeah.
Like for Tommy Two Gloves Gainey, who people might not have heard of. He had a peak ranking of 84 on the PGA Tour. He's no mug. And he always wore 2 gloves. But he became national news back in 2019 when he was in Florida for this charity tournament. Where else? And the night before, he thought he'd unwind by paying a little visit to the local brothel. And he met with a lady who worked there, but unfortunately, she turned out to be an undercover police officer working as part of Florida's Operation Santa's Naughty List.
It's a great name for an operation.
It was December as well, needless to say. Yeah. I mean, again, Florida. I like these comedy police operation titles.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah. So Tommy was busted.
Poor fella.
Tommy was busted. Can you do that with police? You can just pretend to be a prostitute. Or maybe they were just watching. I don't know.
Entrapment is fine in the States, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like in Florida.
Yeah.
And on Dog the Bounty Hunter, if you ever watched that.
Yeah, I've watched that.
Great
Sadly.
program.
Yeah, sadly.
Weirdly not in Florida, but feels like Florida. It's in Hawaii, but same vibe. Anyway, there was a similar fate as Tommy for Johnny Del Pret, who's the boyfriend, or was the boyfriend, of Jessica Corder, who's quite a major star, isn't she, on the LPGA?
So she's the sister of Nelly Corder, who is the current world number one, and also the brother. Her brother is Seb Corder, who's a top 40. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway.
Big golfing family. Unfortunately, Johnny was caught by police who raided a spa at 3:23 a.m. Which it's hard to claim you're just getting a salt scrub and a pedicure at 3:23 a.m. isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
24-hour spa. That police operation also caught Robert Kraft, he's a major American businessman.
Kraft Nabisco, isn't it?
Yeah. And he owns I want to say the Patriots. He owns one of the big American sides. We talked about him recently because Putin stole his Super Bowl ring off his finger. But yeah.
Really?
Well, Kraft showed it to him and Putin just put it on his finger and walked off.
Bonkers.
You're not getting that back.
That's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, Kraft was up to no good, caught on a raid. I saw that Robert Kraft, a man that rich, would have like more of a setup than just getting caught.
Yeah, but it all goes back to Tiger Woods, doesn't it, in that first episode where...
To get done by the police feels
that's
careless.
Careless. That's all it was, careless.
Finally, on the vice element of this story. So back in 2004... 2 California golf course managers were put under house arrest after staging a competition where prostitutes and strippers were stationed on the putting greens. So 17 of these women just set up tents and advertised their services on boards on each green. I guess maybe the first green was the only one with that one.
Sponsor a hole.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Even for me.
that was really getting into the spirit of the upshot, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's worse than Phil Mickelson's bumhole. So these women are stationed on greens, and 160 golfers paid $200 a piece to attend.
Okay.
Many of them showed up without any clubs.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good rate for a green fee, but understandably, yeah.
I think you've got to at least go through the motions of playing the course.
Yeah. I mean, also explain that to your wife, you know. Oh, I'm playing in a charity golf day, actually, up there at Santa Fe Golf Club or whatever it is. Yeah, brilliant. All right. And then 2 hours later,
it's on the
she's
news.
Just folding up, some stuff or collecting an Amazon parcel, putting it in the garage, notices that there's the clubs are still there. What are they doing here? Honey, did you forget your clubs?
Yeah, I hired a set today, actually. Trying them out. Yeah. Yeah, that's a bad one to get caught in. Showing up without your clubs for me is crossing the line.
Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? At least pretend.
Just pretend. Now, one man who was far too wily to get caught up in that sort of caper was Titanic Thompson. So I'm taking you all the way back to the roaring 20s now, Greggy. One of the first stars of the game is this fella. He was born Alvin Clarence Thomas, but he became known as Titanic Thompson. And he decided not to turn pro because he was making more money hustling people. So he would hustle at sort of country clubs, these rich guys, where his main hustle was he would beat them right-handed and then he'd go, all right, double or quits. And they'd be like, don't think I want to play you again. He goes, all right, I'll play left-handed. So they would. And of course, he was ambidextrous. He was actually better on his left, so he beat them again. He was married 5 times. He married a few famous actresses from the era, but mainly he was an inveterate gambler.
Yeah.
He had a number of cons that he would pull. He would bet people that he could throw a walnut over a building. They wouldn't know that he'd actually weighted it with lead so it would travel more. He also once bet someone that he could drive a golf ball 500 yards. This is a time where the best were driving 200.
Yeah, I mean nobody drives it 500
yards now. Yeah,
exactly.
What's
crazy.
DeChambeau, 480?
No, not even that. He'll carry it 350.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did he win this bet? Well, he waited until winter and drove it onto a frozen lake, which apparently will send a ball bouncing for a long, long distance. He also, I should mention, killed 5 men.
What?
The most mental thing is Titanic Thompson never faced any charges. So the first was in 1910 in rural Arkansas when Titanic Thompson, he's playing dice on this boat. And he wins the boat they're on as a bet.
Nice.
And the
good stake.
The bloke he beats is so pissed off, he accuses him of cheating and throws him into the water, Titanic. So he's in the drink, it's all looking nasty. He manages to climb back in, at which point the bloke threatens Titanic's girlfriend as well with a knife. And so he grabs a hammer, Titanic, whacks this bloke over the head and chucks him overboard. Self-defense, really.
Oh my goodness. Do we know why he didn't get charged for this stuff?
Yeah, so apparently the first of all, that was self-defense and he had a witness, but the sheriff said to him, you can either stay here and face a trial or you can hand over the boat and I'll let you leave the state.
No way.
Yeah, it's 1910.
Good corruption.
I don't know what Arkansas was like in 1910, but he gave him the boat wisely and lived to tell another tale. As for the other 4 murders, so 2 of them were killed in self-defense when they tried to rob him of his gambling winnings in St. Louis.
Wow.
Actually, on that occasion, the local police chief thanked him because they were wanted bank robbers.
He's getting lucky, this guy.
It's kind of like bounty hunting, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
In this era, I think you could kill someone who was
who was wanted,
dead or alive.
Yeah.
Another time, he shot a guy who was trying to rob a poker game. Again, self-defense. Thanked for it. And then the final one was he was in a country club in Texas in 1932, and this masked figure approached and held Titanic up at gunpoint. And it turned out to be 16-year-old Jimmy Frederick, who had caddied for Thompson earlier that day.
Oh my God.
He obviously fancied his winnings. And he shot him.
That's unbelievable.
Quicker on the draw.
That is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's so good. I didn't know half of that. That's brilliant.
Quite the life.
Yeah, that's a good.
He also was involved. He also was involved in what was called the crime of the century. He fixed a poker game that caused this New York City crime boss, Arnold Rothstein, one of the first Mr. Biggs, to be in debt for $500,000. And Rothstein refused to pay it and someone killed him.
Oh, wow.
It's a big deal. Yeah, so a real giant of the era.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good at golf as well. Yeah. Did I mention that?
Slightly different to like Bernhard Langer, you know.
Very similar.
Professional golfers, all the same.
All the same. I've actually got another old-time classic for you. This guy was more prolific on the professional circuit. Doug Sanders.
Yeah, Doug Sanders.
Famed shagger. Colourful outfits, real maverick figure in the 50s. He had an insanely difficult childhood. He grew up in the Great Depression picking cotton. Didn't get his first pair of shoes until he was 12.
Yeah.
And he was just picking cotton until he tried caddying on the local 9-hole course.
Yeah.
And discovered his 2 passions. Firstly, golf.
Yeah.
And secondly, knobbing. So he lost his virginity in a ditch aged 11. He said, it was on the way back from the course and she was the pro. What can I tell you? I enjoyed it and just kept doing it. And by the way, that means he lost his virginity a year before he wore his first pair of shoes.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
There's not many people who can say that.
No, you'll never sing that. But by age of 23, he was a major player.
Yeah.
Hanging around with the Rat Pack, Frankie Valli and all the others. Dean Martin. He said later, it was hard running with the Rat Pack and not do what these guys did. Blondes tonight? No, we had blondes last night. Let's go for redheads. So they're just, proper shaggers.
That is,
That's the sort of era where you're like bumping into JFK and shit.
Yeah, it's Bing Crosby and all that type, isn't it? Yeah. And
dirty old dogs, that lot.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
That was the game.
That is, yeah.
Sadly for Doug, he never won a major, but he came as close as you can.
Yeah, he
choked on the final hole of the 1970 Open.
Yeah.
And he lost.
And then it went to it's when they used to do an 18-hole playoff the next day. So yeah, I know not a lot of them now like they do sudden death or whatever, or 3 holes at most. They had to come back the next day. So think about that. Think about that now, right? All the TV companies. I know it sometimes happens when you get bad weather now, but like 18-hole playoff. Everybody comes back, all the volunteers, all the concession stand workers, all the, people who are involved in the infrastructure, everything like that, just to watch 2 blokes slug it out. And Jack Nicklaus was the man that beat him.
Ice in his veins, certainly compared to Doug Sanders.
Yeah.
That's as close as he came then. That's a real painful
but
choke.
Seriously, like, great career. Like, like everybody knows Doug Sanders. Mainly because of what we're talking about. But hey, if we'd have won the Open, it'd have been a different thing.
He said that himself, but he was like, I was rich in other ways. He did, in later life, he developed this condition where he would uncontrollably twitch, which meant that he had to bite his collar while putting. And in the end, it was making him so miserable, he called a hitman called Tony and said, whack me. Arranged it all, set it up, and then the day before the guy was due to whack him, he went and saw the doctor one last time, and the guy was like, look, there is this experimental treatment. We should just try it. It's 50-50. And so he said, I did it. I was in a coma for 10 days, but I lived on. So I stood Tony down.
That's amazing.
I love the way he obviously just knew a hitman from his like Rat Pack days.
That's so
crime boss pals.
So good. And rather than, sticking the car exhaust through into the window.
No, I'll get whacked.
Yeah.
People can pretend it was a hit.
Exactly. Brilliant.
What a way
That's so
to go.
cool. That's rock and roll. Love it.
Yeah. Speaking of rock and roll, everyone we've mentioned in these 2 parts so far has had a wild streak, but none of them can really match the combination of romance and unapologetic chaos as the people's champion, John Daly. Would you agree with that?
I think in terms of like famed, I mean, his legacy will be like how on earth he had the career he did whilst doing all the stuff off course that he did. And like, there's people now who haven't even seen him play. I barely remember him playing, John Daly. And like, people love him. Like, it just lives on. And obviously he was in Happy Gilmore 2 recently.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's good. He plays he can act. I can tell you, he can act. He plays Uncle John. So he's basically like, he lives in Happy Gilmore's house and like he just lives in the garage, and he's really good, actually. Really fucking good. But yeah, but like living up to the whole character, he's swigging like, ethanol and all that stuff. It's quite funny. But yeah.
It's partly like the career. It's partly just the fact that he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And obviously the madness. I mean, like we did an episode on it that if you've enjoyed this, you will fucking love that Daily episode.
Yeah.
So go back and listen to it. But just to briefly tell the story, the best bits. He was an unknown rookie in 1991 when he got a late spot at the PGA Championship, right? So someone pulled out because their wife was having a baby. And John Daly was the 9th choice alternate.
Yes.
All the others couldn't make it. And he had to overnight, hungover, drive across America to make the tour. I think he slept on the back seat and his friend drove.
Yeah, that's right.
Got there, no time for a practice round. And then against the odds, I think he shoots like 69 on the first day.
Yeah.
And ends up.
He goes on to win. This is a major championship. So the world's best golfers, and they all say that the PGA is like the strongest field in golf. Every good player plays in the PGA Championship. And JD turns up, hungover, no practice round, no sleep, not seeing the course, bang, wins it. Incredible.
That's what people love about him. It's the like, it feels like he's getting by on like pure natural ability.
Absolutely.
Which is just more sexy, isn't it?
Nobody has ever ridden natural ability in the way that John Daly has. And I think that contributes so much to the kind of the lore of him, really. And also the fact that, he turns up, he's got like a blonde mullet. This is in the days of country club kids with, beige slacks, baggy Pringle jumpers with diamonds on. And he turns up, he's got like a Reebok sweater on and long, and a big mullet, no cap with no sponsor, goes out, plays. And actually on the broadcast, he is, I think on our previous, on the podcast episode we did it, he is drinking a beer down the 18th. He nicks one off somebody in the crowd and drink just to steady himself walking down the final hole.
And he's smoking the whole way around as well. Yeah, it's just a total gear shift from what people are used to. How can you not be charmed by it? As he said, money poured in like piss on a flat rock. And it wasn't all good news because suddenly he's a megastar.
Yeah.
He estimates over the course of his life, he's lost $55 million in gambling.
That's crazy.
That is mental. But he's kind of like, I had a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, he will now just sit on a slot machine for like a day, just leaving to go to the bogs, which should be depressing and kind of is, but he loves it.
Yeah, it's so good.
He also said that he once, during an argument with one of his wives, he had just won $50,000 and had it in cash, and they were arguing in the car, and he just opened the window and threw it off the freeway.
Amazing.
Again, it's just like, something I really love at some of the people we speak about is like, even though this guy's like gambling loads and stuff, money isn't the focus for them. There's something else that they care about.
Yeah, it's an entertainment thing, like you see the video circulating of him still where he's like, he turns up and he's got no shoes on, gets out of the car and he'll go, right, where's the first tee and what's the course record? And he's like got a fag on and a beer in his hand. It's brilliant. Doesn't warm up. And like, he's obviously plays up to it now. He has to. It's his caricature. It's how he kind of gets by and makes his money. But
it's fun.
Oh, it's brilliant. He's brilliant, is it? So
I think we've talked before about his intake of food and drink, his daily intake, but it bears repeating. So every day in his peak eating years, he said he would have 3 to 4 trips to McDonald's, where he'd have 2 Big Macs, 2 or 3 cheeseburgers, chocolate shake, regular Coke. Then he'd have a Burger King and a Taco Bell, 4 to 6 packs of M&Ms, multiple packs of chocolate muffins, chocolate ice cream, 12 to 20 Diet Cokes, over 40 cigarettes, and no water. He said, I don't drink water. I hate water. I cannot stand to drink water.
It's so strong.
So good.
Brilliant, isn't it? I saw him actually at at like an after dinner thing not that long ago. I reckon after we did our podcast, where somebody asks him about shagging, and they say to him, how much, how much was there of that, for you? And I bet it came easy and all that. When this is like at a golf club in Northern England, and I'm thinking, fucking, that's a bit of a rogue question to ask him.
Love it.
He fucking loved it. He was like, he was like, he was like, I loved it. He's like, and again, he used Tiger as the yardstick, and he said, Tiger was obviously great, but he was like, he's got nothing on me. I thought, how good is that? Just said it in an open forum. So good, so good. But the quality may not have been probably up there, but we'll see.
I think with Tiger Woods, there's like an organization to it that John Daly probably did.
Yeah.
John Daly's story and vibe is like a country music star, isn't it? That tragedy, the boozing, the women.
Well, he does his country music, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he actually plays.
He actually plays, yeah. You were the one who showed me his album, Whiskey and Water.
Yeah.
I've still got it on my Apple
whiskey
Music,
than water.
worryingly. Yeah.
Can't stand to drink water. I found a quote of him talking about shagging. He said, look, if you think about sex as much as I do, it can get tough out there in a golf tournament. You got good-looking women all over the place. Some of them take off their underpants, sit in the greens, and lash you when you come up to putt. Women are always coming up to you in the parking lot and asking you to sign their boobs. Well, I also remember on that pod, we weren't sure what he meant by lash you, but it's actually obvious to me that he means they're whipping you with their underwear.
Him, with bless old John. Can't be nice.
No, it's
bearing the scars of the knickers whipping him over a 20-year golf career.
One of his wives attacked him with a steak knife as well to the
that's
face?
Right,
So, he cops a few blows. And actually, after that PGA win in 91, he had a rough 4 years. He went to hospital with alcohol poisoning like 4 or 5 times. I mean, he had a serious problem. And he arrived at the 1995 Open $3 million in debt to casinos.
Yeah.
So he needed cash.
Yeah.
And this is a stage where people wouldn't really sponsor him, right?
Yeah.
Not the big boys. And then he only goes and wins it again.
So he's now a 2-time major winner, and he's won the Open at the home of golf, St Andrews. I mean,
incredible.
What I love is that every time they have the Open at St Andrews, they have to do like a Legends thing. And you've obviously got, Jack Nicklaus and, and Tiger Woods. And then you've got like boring people like Zach Johnson and whatever. And then JD rocks up. And it's brilliant. It's going to be like this kind of prestigious past champions thing. And John Daly's there puffing away.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would say that out of everybody there, Tiger loves it. Like,
really?
You can tell he really has this weird admiration for John Daly, and I think that's brilliant. But it's good. You can see all these sort of toffs at St Andrews with the little cravats on, all peering out of the Royal and Ancient clubhouse, watching John Daly in his multicoloured trousers ripping a few darts on the first tee.
So he's guaranteed invite basically.
Yeah,
he's a former winner
at St Andrews.
It's a shame he never won the Masters, so that he could do that there.
Champions dinner would be great, wouldn't it? With John Daly.
Although I do love that he always just set up in Hooters car park, didn't he?
Yeah, he was there again this year.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Just selling his wares.
Yeah, if you want to go meet the guy, he's just stood there and he does some chipping and putting and hits the driver off the beer can over the highway and all that. That's
great. He said when he won that 95 Open, he turned down a phone call from President Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go and eat dinner.
Yeah. I'm not sure that he and Clinton were
politically
he did
aligned. Also say, besides, I didn't vote for him either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's quite matey with Trump, isn't he? He's as we mentioned, Hooters and he have a serious relationship. He's sort of the face of Hooters for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Somewhat literally, actually, because one night he's in a Hooters in North Carolina when he got so hammered they had to call an ambulance. Ambulance came. He then refused to get in it or leave the restaurant, at which point Hooters, despite, John being their like beloved sort of son, they called the police who arrested him and he had to pose for a mugshot in an orange jumpsuit, and that branch of Hooters hung it on the wall. It's a classic.
It's a classic photo, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look
at
that.
John Daly, public intoxication to passing out in front of a Hooters. It's a great pic. I think Hooters is folded, hasn't it?
I'm not sure. There was one in Nottingham, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think the English franchises might have survived. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
But I think because there's one in Liverpool now. I think
Is
as well,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
Weirdly, people often write in about this topic, so let us know. But I have a feeling the one with the mugshot might have.
That might have gone. Yeah, I know that where he had parked his motorhome up outside Augusta on the Washington Road. That's outside of Hooters. That was definitely there as recently as April. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
he's still going.
Yeah, so he's still getting his his fix.
Barefoot teeing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I recommend that episode highly. It's like a real sort of romantic journey.
Brilliant, and there's also an excellent exchange between he and President Trump on there as well, isn't there?
Well, where Trump's just talking about bombing Moscow.
Yeah. To John Daly, and John Daly's got his phone on loudspeaker eating fries. Brilliant. So
amazing.
Good.
A lot of Trump in this episode.
There is.
Right, well, I think that brings us to the end, Greggy.
Oh, it's such a shame.
What
such
a
a
ride.
shame. But that was great fun. Really good fun. Great couple of episodes.
Who's your favourite? I was trying to think of a Ryder Cuppy where I guess we could pick like a pair.
I mean, the best one is obviously John Daly, for kind of the fact that he's just ridden this storm for 30 odd years now, and people just love him for it. I've got to say the Arnold Palmer, the presidential kind of review, if you like, the Medal of Honor. Yeah.
Doesn't get better than that.
Brilliant. No, it does kill me.
Accolades don't come better. Shove your knighthood, Nick Faldo.
Yeah, exactly. I think there is so much more that that I could go on about here, and you'd have to seek all kinds of legal advice. There's one guy that I will give you, a guy called Alejandro Tosti, who is actually a current player and probably about as close as you'll get to, not so much for the shagging and the drugs and all that kind of side of things, but just pure fucking nutcasery. This is the man, Alejandro Tosti, current PGA Tour player from Argentina. And when he was on the guy's had a really tough upbringing in these terrible kind of mountainous areas where there's not much infrastructure in Argentina, and he learned to play golf with a can that was strapped to a stick, hitting a pebble and all that kind of stuff. Great story, loads of natural ability, but clearly he's never quite worked out a mind coach. There's loads of stories about him online. I'll tell you that when he got his PGA Tour card, he had to go through a tournament to qualify for it. Usually what they do is they give everybody sort of these fake PGA Tour cards, laminated, and they hold them up and pose for a photo. This guy ran over to where there was some champagne provided by the sponsors just out of shot of the camera, opened one, necked the entire bottle, threw it into the lake that was by the 18th, and then jumped in after it himself. And he played in the Players' Championship, which is one of the big tournaments, the biggest outside the majors this year. His first time playing in that. And in the practice round, he got a hole in one, right? So not even in the real thing, but he got a hole in one on the 17th hole in the practice round. Loads of people going mental. All golf fans know what a fucking lunatic this guy is. And he jumped into the lake in front of the 17th at Sawgrass to celebrate it. Quickly hauled out by his caddy because there are alligators in there. But like this guy, there are so many stories about this fucking guy. And like, I love him. Like he got told that he was playing too slowly. So he started walking along with his head dipped like a child would if they'd just been told off, dragging his club behind his back. This guy is great. So if we're doing an episode in 10 years' time, we might well be talking about Alejandro Tosti. All I would say is that he just needs to up his game on the shagging front.
I'm sure he will. Remember the name. All right. Well, Greggy, what a way to finish. Fantastic.
Good man.
One to watch. Mate, thanks so much. I've loved that.
Always a pleasure, mate.
Yeah. Well, maybe sometime we'll do a Patreon on the really can't talk about rumors.
Let's do that.
The more intimate confines, we can talk about the really salacious stuff about some other names. Mate, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks so much for having me, mate.
If you haven't listened to Greggy on our John Daly and Neil Warnock episodes, highly recommend.
I forgot about the Warnock one.
Different vibes slightly.
Very different vibe.
Very different, but excellent. Thanks so much for listening to this two-parter. Do share it with your golf-loving friends, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.